So this video is a tutorial on how to look up your property taxes in Lake County, Indiana's website. So first you go to lakecounty.in.gov. In the top right corner, it says, how do I find search property tax records? Or you can also go to pay my property taxes. I think they goes to the same place. So we're going to go search property tax records. It's going to be a pop-up window. Allow it. It's going to take you to this page. Property tax search and payment. Click that. Then you can search for your property or any property that's in Lake County, either through the PIN number, the owner name, the mailing address that the tax bills are being mailed to, or the location address. So you just look up any address in Lake County, Indiana. I'm going to use my office here. Street number, street direction if there is one, street name, city, search, and this is the office building where my office is. And just hit this button, view account. And it's going to take you to this page, which will have all the information you would need for your tax bill. It's going to have parcel number, the name and address of the owner, and where their tax bills are being mailed to. Sometimes this may be a lender. My tax bills may be being paid on by a lender on behalf of the owner. Got the tax year. Legal. This isn't the full legal description of the property. This is like a summarized legal description of the property. We've got the assessed value, the type of property. This is This is a 3% rate because this is a commercial property. Residential is taxed at 1%, and residential property that is not homestead property. I'm sorry, residential homestead property, meaning that it's owner occupied. Residential property that's not owner occupied, in other words, rental property and farmland, is at 2%, and then all other property, commercial property, industrial, is 3% tax rate. So this is the assessed value. This is how much the county is saying that this property is worth for purposes of taxes. Minus deductions. If there's any deductions, they would be here. There are none on this property. So you have your net assessed. That gives you your net assessed value. So no deductions. So it's the $950, $700 tax rate, local tax rate, 2.36%. You can see here that it's capped at 3%. So it cannot be higher than 3%. That equals assessed value multiplied by the tax rate equals the tax liability. That's the amount that's owed for the tax year 2024, which will be paid in 2025. Lake County taxes are paid in arrears, which we're not going to get into that, but it just basically means they're paid the following year. They're not, taxes are not paid in the year they're incurred. They're paid in the following year. So you've got your gross tax liability minus tax credits, which will probably appear somewhere else. They're not detailing where these credits are coming from, but and if the tax rate were higher than this is a state cap, if then this is where you would see the credit. If this tax rate is higher than the state, then higher than the rate, the 3% that the state allows, then that would be deducted here. And or if the owner was 65 years or older, there would be some other, possibly some credits. And this, I don't know what this credit is. but that's another credit, another potential credit. So you have a gross tax liability minus your credits equals property tax liability. So this is the amount that's going to get paid, 18,000. That's annually. And here's just some information on the property tax cap. There are some voter approved projects that can exceed the taxable amount that would be capped. You can go over that cap if there's voter approved referendums. So in this case, there are this cap could be higher for this property based on where it's located, but it's not. So then it has the distribution of where the tax dollars are going. You've got of the 22,000 of the gross amount before the deductions. These are the amounts allocated to the county, the township, school district, city, library, tax increment, there's none, and special district. So it just shows you where your property taxes go. And some other charges, Highland stormwater fee, LaCal River Basin. So again, based on this, where this property is located, there's some local voter approved things that are outside of the normal tax liability. These are the available deductions, although this property doesn't qualify for any of these. If the owner did qualify for any of those deductions, they would be here. So you have your total other charges, your total applicable deductions. So you had your total property tax liability plus your other charges gives you 20,932.86, and that's for 2024 due in 2025. Then this shows the payments of that liability when they're due in 2025. There's 2 installments, spring and fall, and you basically pay half in the spring, the other half in the fall. So the spring installment was due on May 12th. It was paid, so the current amount due is 0. If it hadn't been paid yet, there would be a button here for payment options. But it was paid on time. And the second installment is due by November 10th. And you can see it's about half for each installment. This describes the penalties that would be paid if the property taxes aren't paid on time. There's a 5% penalty if it's paid within 30 days after the day is due. If it's not paid and if it's over 30 days late, then it becomes a 10% penalty. And then you have the previous tax year information. So for 2023's taxes that were paid in 2024, you can see what the assessment was at that time and what the property tax was last year. So roughly the same. And this is also tax information from the previous year. So that's it. So if you need to look up your property taxes on your property or anyone else's property in Lake County, Indiana, this is where you go, and this is how to read this page. You can print it. You can print here, and you can use this. You can send this to lenders if a lender wants to know if your property taxes are current. They want to see your property tax bill. You can go to this page, just hit print, and you can print this out right here. And that's it.